Ever sliced into a warm, fluffy loaf of bread and wondered what magical force made it so light and airy? Well, the answer isn't magic. It's biology, and it's happening right in your pantry. Today, we're diving deep into the microscopic world of yeast, the unsung hero of baking. Have you ever considered that the same organism that gives us bread also gave us some of our earliest beverages? The story of yeast is deeply intertwined with human history. Ancient Egyptians were among the first to harness its power, likely by accident. Imagine leaving some grain and water paced out a little too long, only to find it had puffed up and, when baked, produced a much softer, more delicious bread than the dense flatbreads they were used to. They didn't know what it was, but they knew it was special. This tiny, single-celled fungus has been a silent partner in our kitchens for thousands of years, shaping our diets and even our cultures. From the unleavened matzah in Jewish tradition to the fluffy panettone of Italy, yeast's presence or absence tells a story. So, what exactly is this tiny powerhouse doing in your dough? It's all about a simple yet brilliant biological process. When you mix yeast with flour and water, you're essentially preparing a feast for it. The yeast cells wake up from their dormant state and start munching on the sugars present in the flour. As they digest these sugars, they perform a process called fermentation. The main byproducts of this feast are alcohol, which mostly burns off during baking, and carbon dioxide gas. This is where the real action happens. Think of your dough as a stretchy, gluten-filled balloon. As the yeast releases tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide, these bubbles get trapped within the dough's elastic gluten network. It's like thousands of miniature balloons being inflated all at once. The dough has no choice but to expand, to rise, to literally puff up with life. This process is what transforms a dense, heavy lump into a light, airy structure, full of those beautiful little holes we see in a perfect slice of bread. It's a living, breathing ecosystem in your mixing bowl. So next time you see your dough doubling in size, give a little nod of thanks to the billions of tiny organisms working hard inside. You might have heard bakers talking about sourdough starters and commercial yeast and wondered what the difference is. It all comes down to where the yeast comes from. Commercial yeast, the kind you buy in little packets or jars at the store, is a specific cultivated strain of yeast called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Scientists have selected it for its reliability and vigorous leavening power. It's consistent, predictable, and fast-acting, which is why it's a staple for most bakers. On the other hand, we have wild yeast. This is the yeast that's naturally all around us in the air, on the surface of grains, fruits, and even on our hands. A sourdough starter is a perfect example of a wild yeast culture. By mixing flour and water and leaving it out, you're essentially creating a welcoming home for these local wild yeasts and bacteria to move in. This community or microbiome is unique to its environment, which is why a San Francisco sourdough tastes different from one made in Paris. It's a bit more unpredictable and takes longer to work its magic. But it rewards the patient baker with incredibly complex flavors and a beautifully rustic texture. So, whether you're using a dependable packet or nurturing a wild starter, you're participating in an ancient culinary art. From ancient accidental discovery to the science-driven packets in our cupboards, yeast is a testament to the incredible power of the unseen world. It's a simple fungus, but its impact on our food and history is monumental. The next time you enjoy a piece of bread, take a moment to appreciate the billions of tiny life forms that worked together to create that perfect bite. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the pantry. If you found this as fascinating as I do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the science of food. See you in the next video.